Hi, my name's Mark Martin. I'm the founder and CEO of Build Up, which stands for Build Urban Prosperity. At the heart of this program is home. When home is stable, you live better, you learn better, you play better, life is better. But for too many people, too many young people in this country, home is not a safe, stable, secure place. And unfortunately, the schools that we built in this country no longer serve all young people, no longer meet the needs of this nation. Many of them were built, like the Tweed Courthouse, home to the nation's largest school district, New York City schools, to last, but not to adapt. There's a reason they were built with marble and concrete and brick, so they could never come down, but also they don't adapt enough and quickly enough, especially in times like this, to meet the needs of our children, especially the most vulnerable among them. Build Up was built for a different reason, though. It was built to address all the challenges that poverty brings into the classroom. For 15 years, I operated in the K-12 sector, and it often felt like a lonely, siloed sector of where we only had things within the four walls of a school building to leverage. We know there are great nonprofits doing work in housing and workforce development, great mentoring programs providing social capital, but those things were hard to tap into. But Build Up is about tying them all together by reaching out to the greater community and bringing them into the school and sending our students out to the school, out of the school to the jobs that are waiting for them and desperately need to be filled because of this looming skills gap that is always causing problems for employers across the country. So Build Up was built to work for students by addressing their personal academic needs, but also solving needs around them in their community. This is work made possible. I don't know anybody that knows the value of home more than George. When we met George, he was 18 years old and should have been excitedly preparing for his high school graduation. But instead, he was caring for his mom and 9-year-old sister, chronically homeless and on a 4th and 5th grade math and reading level. But George had a passion inside him that wanted to do something different and be something different, not only for himself and his family, but for his community. George came to us through our summer recruitment boot camp, where he got exposure to this world of work and what a difference he could not only make in growing himself, both his mind and his skills, but also in changing his community. Build Up ties kids like George into quality career-focused education, not just inclusive of K-12, but also tying in a post-secondary degree that is critical this day and age. We also put young people in the arena of industry experts like Carlos, who can teach them skills that he has gained as he has become a master carpenter. These skills allow them to be local leaders in their community. Too often our communities suffer from brain drain, where the most opportunity draws students away from their communities and they never come back to make a difference. But instead, Build Up empowers them to be the leaders and equips them to be the change where they are, solving issues like poverty, urban blight, housing instability. There's nothing more relevant than when you can tie learning to the issues that students see right before them each and every day. Now, we know that we cannot undo 400 years of oppression. No matter how many AP classes we add, it cannot be done, but we can help level the playing field because we see equity as ownership. Not only do we pay students through quality paid apprenticeships, but they're also getting a piece of the pie finally. What doesn't work in American housing policy is to continue to leave people in rental situations, but our young people actually at graduation will take on not only a home that they can live in, but also a rental property there where they can provide dignified housing for others and begin building wealth. This happens not in some silo, but by reaching out to the entire community and drawing them in to help with housing. So our young people are the difference makers. They're rehabbing abandoned houses. We're also relocating homes that would otherwise be demolished in wealthier parts of town. This brings wealth creation to a town where otherwise we cannot build homes because of how economically depressed it is. And our students are gaining skills throughout so they can solve job gaps that are out there. Our students finish the program not only with that education, but they can go in one of 3 paths to the middle class. They can take their 2-year associates on to a 4-year degree program, which we know still has a lot of value in our country. They can launch small businesses through the entrepreneurial skills they're gaining, not just with a good idea, but actually developing a business plan, having funding in place, and creating jobs in their community. Most will likely choose a salary job with one of our partners, but a partner with which they've already spent time apprenticing and interning, and they see a path forward, and that company also sees this young person as a part of their long-term plan. Now, we launched Build Up out of a 1,500 square foot house that hadn't been lived in 10 years. No running water, no electricity, but over one summer, students turned this into a place of learning and also a beacon of hope for the community. We outgrew it pretty quickly though in our 2nd year when we doubled, and in our 3rd year when we doubled once again. And we then partnered with a church that's 100 years old but was hurting and losing its congregation members. This church has more square footage than they knew what to do with, but through partnership and the energy and dollars that we could bring in, we can once again make it a hub of the community. As I mentioned, we are relocating and recycling homes that would otherwise end up in a landfill. This house was condemned by the city and knocked down, but then no one was caring for the yard. It became just a blighted, abandoned lot, but our students started clearing these lots through an opportunity zone fund. But that wasn't enough just to return it to nice, pretty green grass. We actually want to put something great there that can be a home for a child like George. And so this house in a suburban area outside of Birmingham would have otherwise ended up in a landfill, but we actually lifted it up, put it on a trailer, and took it to that empty, blighted lot that I showed you earlier. We can then have the students working on this, and it saves us over 2/3 of our construction costs, brings new life to that same home we just showed you. This could not be done through new construction, could not be done through house renovations. All of these homes we've been able to save. Now, we haven't been without our challenges. Our initial plan was to use this space for 3 years, but to do in-person learning during COVID, we had to ensure that our students could be socially distant. So we had to expand our footprint 4-fold in that 100-foot church and spend an extra $200,000 this year renovating spaces where our students could learn. We also, though, have had some successes and adapted in ways that have been truly unique. We're developing software where our students can work with virtual reality programming and actually do workforce development from home. We have an incredible team of national thought leaders, people who have experience in every aspect of the work we're pulling together, from HUD to Jobs for the Future, and also in the finance sector to make all of these things work well. We partner because we cannot do it alone. We're pushing this work out to the community, and because of that, we believe that we can grow in tremendous ways. Build Up is making a difference. It's not only making a difference for kids like George who will now have a home, but it's making a difference for the entire community in ways that are immeasurable. Thank you for your time.